In today's video, I am introducing some Hero Art products to my channel. I have the Branches and Blossoms layering die set, item number DF200, that I'm playing with today, and I thought this big background die would be really cool on a watercolored background. So I thought we would take some Lindy's Magicals, and blue and yellow make green. So I thought we would just experiment on some watercolor paper with some of these magicals, and we will just jump in and play and see what magic happens. I have no idea what will happen. I have not practiced this. Matter of fact, I haven't played with these in probably a year. And, well, I might have shaken them on a couple little projects since then, but really not much. So I'm just going to put a little powder here and there on here of the blue. And this is Butter the Bread Blue. And then let me just get a paintbrush, and we will just dip this in here and just sprinkle a little bit of this on in places as well. Because remember, I want these to mix. So, because I'm thinking the leaves and everything, I'm thinking these are going to mix. I'm hoping that they mix and make some pretty colors. So let's just cover those up, and then we'll give it some spray and we'll see what happens. I've got a Spellbinders Mighty Mister, and I also have a little tiny mister here. So I'm just going to give it a little spray from the Spellbinders Mister first, and just get these colors a mixin'. I just want to see what it's going to do when it gets wet, and we can move it around. This is pretty wet, so we're just going to meander it around, let it mix, because that's the whole point here. Is see what color it's going to become. And we can do this a few different times, because we can heat it and we can do it again and activate it again. Okay. And I'm going to see if I can get up some of this water here, and what happens if I just touch these crystals. I'd rather not have the solid crystals. So let's just see what happens if I can just activate those so we can get the solid pigment. There we go. Now I don't want to make sure, get the yellow out. Well, I guess it wouldn't matter if the yellow was in there. It would just turn green, wouldn't it? But look at that. Having the paintbrush, you can just get those crystals to break up right there. I mean, you can leave the firework look if you want to. And actually, let's look and see what adding some of that yellow in there would look like. Or adding some of the blue. See, adding that blue right back in there turns that all that green. Okay, let's heat this. And just get some of this saved in stone here. There is quite a bit of water here, so it's going to take a little bit of time. By lifting it, you can see if it's going to keep moving or not. You can see it's almost, you don't have to go all the way dry, but at least it's not moving on its own now. So now you can choose to do a little more yellow, a little more blue. Now I'm going to go ahead and take some more yellow here, but I want to dry that brush. I think I'm going to pull in another brush so I know it's dry. I don't want to put wet into my pot here. So I'm going to just take another brush and go ahead and put some more yellow around the edges here. Get a little more yellow in there. Ooh, that's a lot on my brush there. This stuff goes a long way. So I don't need a whole bunch. Maybe a tiny bit more right there. Okay. And I really don't even need that whole panel covered, honestly, because I'm taking a piece of this out of here. See, I'm going to be using a piece of it like that. So it just depends on what, using a bigger piece just gives you more to pick from when you are die cutting. So we're just going to work on the outer edges. And then, of course, you have the extra scraps left over to use in other pieces. So like if I had a blue piece here and I was wanting more of a green area and I wanted it down here, I could cut one of the birds out of the blue if I wanted to, and it would set off. Like if this turned all green down here, we could actually focus that, all greens and yellows down here. Then we could have the blue and use a bird on top as blue. Like that area right there would be really pretty if I didn't just ruin it by putting all that yellow there. But, you know, that's kind of things you could look for. You could look for an area like that and use it for multiple things. So I'm going to go ahead and just spritz this some more and we'll see what happens. I'll spritz it closer and not as all over. And you actually could use the smaller one for this if you wanted to. Less water, of course, makes it so that you do not have as much movement. Get that movement down the side there. I'm just going to let it drip all the way down. All the way back. I don't have very much water in the middle, so the middle is staying pretty much the same. But by holding it straight up, we're getting the movement down the sides. This is the one, yeah, this is the big one. And this is the area here that we got a really pretty yellow up here, which I could see using a flower in. And then if we could pull a nice blue area for the birds, or for a bird, that would be really pretty. It's still moving. We could actually move that around a little bit. Take this spritz right here. See if we can maneuver it a little bit. You can always change it a little by maneuvering it yourself. See that? So you might get some blue right in there that you could make a bird. You might also have some in here that would work for a bird. I do not want to mess that yellow up. So you've got some blue here, you've got some blue here. Now the question is, where are we going to pull our panel? So we need a piece for our panel. I really like that for our bird. So let's look. If we take our bird here, we would get our bird right there. We could get some flowers here. So let's do this for the green. So I want more green in here. So let's add green, yellow right here where I just smeared that blue around. And just see if I get blue here. Or get green. I might get mud. Okay, now I need to move this around without getting that yellow and blue messed up there. Let's see, let's move it this way. Let it run off. And a lot of that dark off. Let it go a little bit more. Actually, we may end up taking it this way. Let's take it off this way. See where I'm going with this? See how it's turning green? Okay. It's okay that some of it's blue. That's okay. All right. So now we have a panel. It's a little dark there. But now we have a panel that has some yellow. We have some blue. We have some green. That's going to work out for our birds. I mean, for our background. We'll run that off this way. That'll just lighten that a little bit. See that? I'm running it off the page. And I am using watercolor paper here, of course, which is going to allow it to absorb all this water. I'm just lightening up this blue right here so it's not as noticeable. And that's plenty light now. Okay, so now I'm going to dry all this and I'll be right back. I just wanted to pop in here real quick before die cutting and show you how pretty all of this turned out. So pretty. Okay, let me show you a little trick for die cutting. I got my Spellbinders A2. It's called Precision's Layering A2 Set A dies out. Now this piece here is just going to cut the inside. It's going to cut out all these pieces. I don't see an outside cutting die. So I'm going to put this inside my A2. Uh-oh, this might already be cut into an A2. Wait a minute, let me check the size of this. Is this already an A2? It is already 5.5. Ah, okay. So it's already an A2. Well, I was going to be sneaky and cut this out of there, and it's already cut that size. Okay, well, for future notice, if you don't cut an A2, tape these together. See this? Tape these together, and then cut out your A2. And you'll have the perfect alignment. Okay, so now we'll place this on here and we will tape this down so it's perfectly set in there. Except that all the tape's on there. But the tape is not sticky, so it should come off pretty easy. This is why I used mint tape. It's less sticky and you have to really burnish it down, but it barely sticks. So it's good for masking. Ooh, this is pretty. It looks like you've done Winkostella all over it. These are a little ornery back here because they've got the tape on them. I don't care that the mint tape is on the back of these leaves. I just don't want to pull off too much of my paper that could still be wet. If the mint tape is sticking, it's because the paper is still a little damp. It might not be completely dry, so I'm just why I'm being super careful. That corner might still be a little wet, but it's not going to matter on this side. That was a lot of water we put on it, but it's still all coming out beautifully. I love how this paper just, this die has really cut this paper nicely. It's probably because it's watercolor paper, but it just feels so nice cutting this die. And look how pretty that is. I don't know if you can see the shimmer, but there's shimmer on it like if we ran Winkostella all over it. Okay, I'm back. I've got everything die cut out of our one piece that we made together. I've got the leaf, the birds, the flowers, and our panel, of course. And before we attach this to a background panel, I want to add a little bit of texture to this. Now, this is another stamp set I have that was released in March as well. This is called the Here For You bundle. And it's a stamp and die bundle, or you can buy, I believe, this stamp set separately. But it has some really pretty, let me see if I can get this to where, well, it might be easier here. I'll put it like this. It has some really pretty font sentiments in it, and I really liked it because it has all the dies that go with it. I went ahead and already stamped Hello Friend to use on our card today and die cut it out. And we're going to use this little texture stamp here to put some texture on our background. So I've already put it on a stamp here, a stamp block. And I'm going to use some matcha tea from Altenew. And we're just going to add some random texture to our leaves. I thought it would just add some interest to the background. Here and there, very subtle, kind of tone on tone. No one's even going to realize we added it. It's going to be in the background. And it's just something a little different. Different to us, you know? Just something, something. And this would be a great stamp for multimedia. That's what I thought when I saw it. You can even do second generation, like you can do 1 and 2. It doesn't matter if some are lighter, some are darker. See that? It does not matter. There we go. There's a little bit up here. Maybe I'll put one there. Yeah. So you see, it just gives a really soft, subtle. So just choose something that offsets your color just a tad so that it looks really pretty and random. And I just love the look of that. So now we will go ahead and do the same thing on this. This little branch is going to come out right here. And I had just a tiny piece of my paper left that I went ahead and die cut that out of. That's why it's not complete right there on the bottom. So we're going to put it right here. I didn't want it as dark as the background. I want it to show up. So let me just stamp off that color. And then we'll do this one in the lighter one. Yeah, just so it's even more subtle. There we go. Okay. All right, now we'll go ahead and attach this to our background using my Sweet Petunia glue press. Just give this a nice little bead of glue around here. And then we'll put some here and there in the middle. Remember, if it doesn't all lay down, that's okay, because it's just going to look natural to have some loose in here and there, you know. Plus, we're going to be adding a little more to it. So I'm just going to be random about this, maybe just on the leaves. Just the big spots. Okay. This should all fit exact because it's both A2. Then you can just press that down. Of course, those flowers are sticking up because I didn't put glue on them. So you can choose to tack those down if you want to. We'll see as we go along, because remember, we still have these flowers to put on. So now I'm going to go ahead and attach this leaf. And here again, you can choose to tack it down all the way, or you can choose to leave it up a little bit for some dimension. It's totally up to you. I'm going to make sure that bottom piece is down securely though along the bottom here. When I cut it, the end of the paper was right there and it was straight. So I thought, well, I will put it purposely right along the bottom of the edge so it looks like I did it on purpose. And that's just going to fill in that little portion of the card. And then we've got our birds. Let's go ahead and put our birds on the branches so we know exactly where they're going. And this bird actually is covering up this flower. So I will go ahead and tack this flower down so it doesn't bother the bird. So I want his feet to actually stand on the branches. So I'm going to leave them flat. I just love the way this is turning out. It's so playful. There we go. So he's going that way. And then we'll have our other little one down here. Little feet. And let's see, we'll put the other one, how about down here on this branch? Look like they're playing. Maybe it's a male and a female. Dark and light. And then let's see what flowers we have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if we can tuck, and 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 flowers. Okay, so where's our sentiment going? Maybe right here. If we do that, then we don't have to have a flower there. So that looks like that works. Let's go ahead and put that in place. I did triple this sentiment to give it a little structure and have it poke out a little bit. So that has 2 extra blanks underneath it, and I stamped it in the navy. So these are the 3 ink colors I have used in the project. Make sure that looks straight. It does. See, you never would know that there's a little flower under there. So now we can tuck these in, and I think this has plenty of dimension, so I'm not going to worry about any foam. And I'm going to tuck these in and place them on the flowers themselves. Tuck it under the leaf there. And I'm going to just put them right where the flowers themselves are. I have some that are mostly yellow, and then I have a couple that were green. So I'm going to put the yellow ones kind of maybe a diagonal. Let's see how far we get. I see the birds are kind of diagonal, so let's keep that flow going as long as we can. And then maybe we'll put a little crystal in the center of each of these. That might be pretty. I'm really excited to share the upcoming April release with all of you. I will be sharing it on the 20th of April. So make sure all of you like and subscribe because I've already seen it. And if you want a sneak peek, check the coming soon section, especially if you're a better press lover, because it's pretty impressive. Pun intended. It's pretty impressive. So I am going to be lucky enough to share that with you, and I will have an up-close video for all of you. So make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because I would absolutely love it if you would come back on the 20th and then also on that Thursday to follow for a live with their products. Now let's get some crystals. Ooh, these might be pretty. Let's see what these look like. Let's see. These are flat but faceted, it looks like. Oh, those will be pretty. How about that? Put a little bit of glue there. We'll put a little bit of glue on there. There's that one. And looks like one more. There we go. Here is our Hero Arts card for today. And I will list all the products used down in the visual supply list like normal. So if you see anything you're interested in, just let me know. If you have any questions today, just feel free to leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think of the card too. I would love to hear what you think. This was a lot of fun. You have a great day, my friends, and I will see you in the next crafty video. Bye-bye for now.